Good evening, everybody. Welcome along to Mechlin. Welcome here to the Christmas Arena and the perfect place to be between Christmas and New Year. There is no other destination where you can see so much top-class equestrian sport because, of course, it is a trifecta of World Cup competitions with the dressage, the driving and the Longines FEI Jumping World Cup, which will take place here on Tuesday. Not to confuse the days, because of course we're on Sunday, and this is the qualifier for the World Cup class on Tuesday. So it's an important competition. The big names are, of course, in town. There's a really strong lineup for the home fans here, of course, from Belgium to get behind, and after a tremendous summer, there's a lot to celebrate with a team that, of course, took a gold medal at the European Championships, and they've got a whole host of riders at the moment in the top 50. Have a little look at this as a list. It is stacked with Belgium right at the start. Peter de Vos there, and of course Thibaut Spitz, Olivier Philipparts, all riders that have been, of course, doing so well. Nicolas Philipparts ensuring the Philipparts' name is well represented, but then you add in the likes of Patrick Stallmeyer, Daniel Deusser, and here we go with the others as well. World number 9, Julien Epillard, Gilles Thomas, the world number 5. Look out for Barbara Schnipper, she's been in great form. Robert Murphy, of course, with that big Grand Prix win just recently. Willem Party in de Hoos, gone with the younger horse, a man that's already won 2 on the World Cup circuit so far this year. There's plenty coming forward. Plenty of nations represented, from Morocco to Hungary to Norway to Ireland and Italy in there as well. And Gregory Waterley, of course, one of the top jockeys in there from Belgium. Michael van der Vleuten here as well. And as we move into the back half, keep an eye out for Rodrigo. He always seems to go well here, but he's also picked up the last draw. Stieg Gerdat has got some brilliant horses with him. Great to see the likes of Alberthen's Ishani Seat here tonight. Philip Schulze-Toffhoff as well, already a winner a little bit earlier on today. Well, the crowd have packed in to this arena, and now I think down there on the arena floor the final minutes of the course walk are underway, and the course, of course, set tonight by Bart Vonnick, our course designer, and it has a time allowed of 80 seconds. It's 16 total jumping efforts and 13 obstacles. At a height of 1.50 m, they're jumping for a total of €56,800 worth of prize money. And it has certainly got a high energy vibe wherever you walk around this magnificent showground. Well, riders just getting their chance to get their eye in and understand exactly which route they are being sent upon this evening. Really looking forward to it. Seen some great jumping so far. Big Masters the other night certainly did get big. That was right up at 1.70 m all the way round at the jump off. It was an absolute cracker, and of course Stieg Gerdat coming out on top of that. We saw one of the 5-star classes a little earlier. That went the way of Philip Schulze-Toffhoff down there, just looking. I see, we see Peter de Vos. I saw Gilles Thomas, of course. He's the highest ranked rider here this week. But it's great to celebrate with all of the fabulous performances of the Belgian riders. This I've been looking forward to. Here we go. This is a whole new way to walk a course. Off we go. Let's find our way round as we head on down the arena. Just to the right-hand side, they're going to get a nice open line as we go down towards fence number 1. The Longines parallel is the opening fence on the course, so a nice way to focus things up. As I say, from the Longines fence, we begin this rollback tail. It's quite a narrow arena, but it's got length, so you quite often get quite long runs between the fences. Round they come, all the way back to fence 2, this Longines World Cup fence, the FEI jump as it's well known. And then on this curved line, again, it's quite a narrow fence, the BMW parallel, but it's certainly got width to it here this evening. And big stretch over that as they then land and then come back round the corner on this far end of the arena. It is round the corner to fence number 4. It is the Euro horse fence. And again, you'll get a good sort of idea of the width that they're jumping. It's certainly 150 plus wide. And then this angled line that'll take them down about 32 metres to what is, again, a very finely balanced pole on top. And then that curved line that comes beyond it, again, really actually sends them round the corner, because you then ride past fence 1 and you're going to go deep into the corner, and then you're going to ride out of the corner, water tray there under the lights, over fence number 6, which brings you in to this line that takes you down to the double. And of course, this double, 8 metres 10, 7A, 7B, and then it is onwards from that plank, being very gentle on the way out. This line, 22 metres or so down to fence number 8. Again, the Zangerscheid fence, certainly looking big enough. And again, that pole is very, very light. Plenty of jumping still to come. You've got to go back down and back up the arena all over again. So round the corner we come, back up to fence number 9. Coming off the corner, that quite a dark top rail compared to the bottom rail. Somebody ducking out of the way of our drone. This is a really brilliant way to walk a course. I give full marks to Andy and the team. Now 10A, 10B and 10C. So the combination, the KBC, 2 strikes in over the upright you go, 11 metres 40, and then landing over the upright in the middle, 8 metres 10, and then the big stretch out over that parallel to finish off. But then you come round the corner because you've still got 3 more jumping efforts round to fence number 11. So this, the Carlsberg fence, and then on this line, 33 metres or so down to fence number 12. Look at that for a plank. Absolutely solid. Can't see the other side. And then it is that little distance down to the finish and over the last again with the water tray underneath it, and then through the finish you go. More course walks like that, please. That was a lot of fun, and I'm certainly not aware I've ever done it before, and I've certainly seen a lot of course walks. I like graphics, but I actually think that was better. Personal opinion, either way. That is Bart Vonick. He's out there having a final little measure of the course to make sure that everything is absolutely as it should be. And the lights go out. Well, I did say it's a high energy beat here tonight, and as you'll see, it's time to set the scene. It's a packed house tonight. It is absolutely rammed. It's so exciting to see what unfolds. The sport here is always at the very top level. And of course, able to bring it all to you live here on Clip by Horse TV. What a year it has been. On FEI TV, Clip by Horse TV, across the platform, it has been a brilliant year of international sport. And of course, to think we're only halfway through the Longines FEI Jumping World Cup season as we wind our way around Europe here on the Western European League to that final in Texas, in Fort Worth, next April, which will be here soon enough. So the qualifier and the World Cup leg in Mechelen will get underway here at 3 p.m. on Tuesday afternoon. This class is the qualifier for that next leg of the World Cup series. Beautiful setting. Those floating Christmas trees, always beautiful to watch and look at, but now the focus is on the floor, and this surface has been absolutely first rate. It really has. Look at that. The final countdown indeed. We're ready to go. 56,800 euros. It's a Longines ranking C, and we're going to start with a run of riders from Belgium. All with a lot of talent and experience, and a man, of course, that has had the win here before as well. But Vermeer is up first today. Here's what it's like to win the World Cup leg here. Did so a few years ago. He's got Magic van Hullerode Z as his ride this evening. The first up then is this 10-year-old mare by Midas van Het Edenhouse out of a Vigera Sui mare. Time allowed again. I have to remind myself actually what the time allowed is again. 80 seconds. 8-0. The business seats absolutely full. And those, the grandstand seats are certainly filling as the evening goes on. There's not many seats left, and here we go. There's the bell to say we're good to go. This is a 10-year-old then, as I said, this mare for Willem. It's a horse, though, that's had quite a bit of time off. It's good to see Magic back with us, as last jumping was actually back in February. I remember watching this combination over the sort of course of the last couple of winters really coming on, and he went to Abu Dhabi. Had a really strong couple of results out there back at the Longines League of Nations at the beginning of the year, but then has been off with the mare until Mechlin. Up to this fence on the corner at 6. And they come back to number 9, the parallel down to the combination. Really steadying up, setting himself up for that as best he could. He's still got 3 fences left to jump. Be interesting to see the balance on the clock, because he has taken his time in a couple of places. He's down to the final 10 seconds. It'll get quite tight. Jumps in. 80 seconds. Is he going to do it? Yes, he is. What a way to start. Welcome back, Magic. Oh. Willem Vermeer will be delighted with the way she has just produced that clear round, 79.20. I would guess, therefore, the time is not going to be too much of an issue tonight, because he did take quite a sort of steady approach in terms of the rhythm he was looking at. He really checked up coming down to the combination, but he was tired of taking that sort of no-risk approach. He'll be over the moon. Talking of moons, now it's Dixie Moon. It's the turn of Olivia Philipparts. The 11-year-old mare that he's riding is by Diamantino, out of a Baltimore mare, this Swedish warm blood of Fanny Rivens. Won the ranking class in Bilbergen at the start of the month. These two been placed in some decent classes indoors. Of course, they were also on Belgium's Nations Cup team that went out to Spruce Meadows back in September. It's a combination, certainly no strangers to these big occasions. Oh no. Well, So often you see one come in and do the most incredible rounds like Willem did to deliver the clear, and then you're quickly reminded it's not easy to do that. And I think he's just tapped the last as well. So with the final fence going down, Olivier Philipparts finishing on a total of 8. But of course, we will see more from family Philipparts a little bit later on with twin brother and younger brother both involved, Nicolas and Thibaut. Meanwhile, we stay with Belgium for the next to go, because stood out there and ready to get underway is Jeroen Appelen. Meanwhile, we get to go back and have a little look at the replay. I love the way this arena has the crowd right up beside you. I mean, it's a brilliant place to watch the sport. And this was the fence going down, just never really got the jump in. So off we go over the first with Dancing Wolf OL, this gelding by my Lord Carthago. Now, 13 years of age, out of a contender mare. A few different riders, but really seems to have settled in quite nicely with Jeroen, who's just got away with a little bit of a tap of the toe. Certainly putting in some solid performances in Stefex, also in Avanche. And then more recently in Eselhof, where they were second in the 2-star Grand Prix. He's currently carrying 8. Coming home. Ken's going to run up quite tight to the time. Jeroen lands over the last and finishes on an 8 penalty score. And a little bit like Willem Vermeer, just judging that as tightly as is possible, up against the time of 80 seconds. Dancing Wolf OL, sadly walking away on an 8 penalty score. Still 3 more in this opening grouping of Belgium's best. With just the one clear so far. You can see the next one stood in the corner and ready to go, and it's one of my favourite chestnut mares. This is Jarina J. And of course in the saddle, Peter de Vos, part of that gold medal winning team back in the summer, the world number 53, with the mare by Cicero Z van Pamel, that of course had the win in the Grand Prix in Coruña back at the beginning of the month. Second on the opening day. They won the big class on the Saturday night, that Grand Prix. Of course, these two also won Amsterdam's Grand Prix if you go back to the beginning of this year. But it's been a summer of solid performances on the Global Tour and in 5-star competition. She's out of a Harley mare. He took her, in fact, after Coruña to Centaur, jumped her in the 3-star there the other day, and just before Christmas he won the 150 and was third in the Grand Prix. But it's tonight a score of 4, and that makes 8. Another. Well, that top form from Coruña just not coming all the way through to Mechelen, unfortunately, from Peter's point of view. As he also shows us just how difficult it is. And with a total of 12, it also goes back to showing you how impressive was Willem Vermeer on the return of magic It really lived up to the name to deliver that opening round as a clear round, and Peter de Vos on the 12. 47 in all to come forward though tonight. Plenty of clears, I'm sure, to follow at some point. Now, one of the fastest ladies in Belgium, it is a Good Patti here with her 10-year-old mare by Comme Il Faut. This is Seacoast Chica VVZ. Out of a Go Blue mare. Some decent results in Salzburg and Frankfurt over the last few weeks prior to coming here to jump at home. But it is a combination that, again, this sort of 150, 155 height can be so competitive. Talking to a horse, just steadying things a little. Oof, again, just really having to stretch coming out of the combination, but jumped it now into the final line. Sitting back, waiting, in. Surely we're clear. Absolutely perfect. Good Patti is through. She punches the air. Mission accomplished in round one. Seacoast Chica VVZ joins Willem Vermeer and Magic Vent Hoekenrood Z. So, two clears for the Zangerscheid stud book so far. Brilliantly ridden, just knew what she needed to do. We stay with Belgium to the, well, one of the young stars, and of course part of the gold medal winning team in the summer. We've been impressed tonight though. Thibaut Spitz has Jazzy Desdorm, the Emerald Stallion, out of a Calvaro mare of Harris Dedam. This 10-year-old had a very good win in the Grand Prix in Düsseldorf at the start of the month. It's a horse he has taken to some of the five-star shows. I guess you class it more as the second ride at some of those bigger events, of course, getting some really good mileage and opportunities, though, in the likes of New York and also at Stepex. But it's a horse that has shown its qualities at 150 and 155 on a few occasions this year. Already, what, world number 66 currently. Showing he's got a fabulous temperament for dealing with the big occasions. Unfortunately tonight he just couldn't find the stride. It just all ran out of room coming down to the combination for Thibaut. And with the light fence falling, in the end it becomes a total of 8. So 8 penalties is the score for Thibaut Spitz and Jazzy Desdom. So what have we got? 2 out of 6, running at around that 33% mark in terms of the clears, and everybody's shuffling along, trying to find those seats wherever they can. But that line coming down into the combination now, having caught out a couple. So we move on. Belgium will return, but now it's 2 in a row for Germany. Patrick Stühlmeier, the first of which here with Malter PS. The Chocolat round and bred 14-year-old stallion by Baludurue out of a Chenko Blue mare. Comes here fresh off the back of that second place just before Christmas in the 4-star Grand Prix in Frankfurt. But it is a combination all summer, to be fair to them, have been very capable of putting in some really good performances at this sort of range. Spent a lot of time down in Saint-Tropez where they jumped well towards the end of the summer. Gets in, gets over, gets out, still clear. Oh no! You heard the tap before the pole moved, and then suddenly there it goes, front rail down. Balute PS also on 4, the only combination on 4 so far, but it isn't the clear they would have been hoping for. So difficult all the way through to the finish. Well, we stick with Germany for the next to go, although hopefully we're getting a little replay here of that run down to the last from Patrick here in Bouletier. He just pushed off and just clipped it. But it is Germany once more, although perhaps he's sort of almost an adopted rider for Belgium because, of course, his relationship and ongoing and hugely outstanding successful partnership with the Stefek stables, which is very much Belgium, is now the turn of Daniel Deusser. And what a horse this is. Otello de Goldenblum really has sort of bloomed this year with the win in the Grand Prix of Le Boule, also the win in the World Cup on the Western European League in Verona in November, and besides that, some other tremendous results that have really shown the class of this lovely stallion by, of course, Tobago Z. That is another that has been such a successful part of Daniel's lineup of horses. Otello, owned by the Stefek stables, is out of a Caratino mare, 11 years of age. What a brilliant jockey, although the time is going to get a little bit tight. I think he's okay, and he is by a second. It's judged to the second. Inside, as Daniel Deusser delivers the clear round there with a Stefek stables Otello. The Golden Boom, that is one that will be certainly a good one to keep an eye on. Look, relaxed. Otello is at the end as well, the way Daniel's just able to give the reins away and just completely chilled straight after the finish. Big, powerful, jumping stallion. Well, we're going to stay with the Stefek's stables, actually, for the next to go, although representing Sweden, but of course very much part of Team Stefek's. It is Petronella Anderson with this lovely mare, Opilienne de WNS. The 11-year-old mare is by Toulon out of a Zorocco Blue VDL mare. She rode this horse at the European Championships in Coruña in the summer. And a very strong outing. Some good results at the end of November in Stockholm. That clear round, and got into the jump off of the Grand Prix in Lyon as well. on a few of the teams for Sweden as well over the course of the year. Well, they'll be pleased to get the combination out of the way, but now they come round into this final line. Oh, and again, judged just right with the clock, 79.15. It's a very good night for the Stefex Stables because they now have 2 through. Petronella Anderson literally following in the hoof prints of Daniel Deusser and delivering her clear. Sweden in to the jump off. 2 for Belgium, 1 for Germany, 1 for Sweden. Plenty more to come. It always looked like the sort of course that would give us a good number of clears. How many in the end, we'll find out. But it's gone well so far for 4 of them. Next to go, back to Belgium. Another of the hugely popular parts of the sport here, Jos Verlooy. This mare, Prez Van Dial, is the 10-year-old by Zazu of the Eurosource team, and of course has been a Nations Cup ride for him over the summer. Helped the team to the podium in Saint-Tropez. Last week was jumping in London. That second place on the opening day. Oh no, pole over the water tray goes down. Down towards the final fence, to which the final fence goes down. Jos Verlooy finishes his round on a total of 12 with Paris Van Den Dial. Shame for those two. They had a good performance in the Masters last night. It just went wrong in the jump off. Now the bell going for the next, and in fact we stay with Belgium. And talking of Masters, this is Cohen Riek and Merriweather Vent Luricon Hof, the now 13-year-old mare by Emerald that 12 months ago won the Masters here at Mechlin in that opening night. Big jumping, big power jumping course, as we saw here again yesterday evening. Dropped in some big classes in some big Grand Prix over the course of the summer as well on the Global Tour, most recently jumping into 4th in the Grand Prix in Paris a couple of weeks ago. Jumps the double well. Hoping to rekindle that form of 12 months previous. Certainly showing the power and the height. It's the balance and adjustability down the final line. One fence left to jump. I think we're about to get another with the way these two have flown so far. Cohen Varik is indeed showing the class and quality that he had with Merryweather 12 months ago here in Mechlin. Coming alive in front of the home fans and giving us a clear round number 5. So 3 of those, of course, riding for Belgium. Very happy moment for the 2 of them. He is pricked forward, really looking towards that next fence, wanting to jump it and giving plenty of height. Well, Belgium once more. World number 13, and of course part of the team that took the gold in the summer tonight with his hugely experienced mare, Moya van der Bishop. Nicolas Philipparts, this mare by the amazing Darko, part of Team Philipparts and Ben Brevers. Out of an Atulio Z mare. This combination jumped into the top 5 in Stockholm at the end of November. They were also second there in the qualifier a couple of days prior to that. Of course, they've had a host of really strong performances this year, including that 5th place on the Longines Global Champions Tour in the Grand Prix in Paris. There's a lot of experience between these two. Big, lovely jump out over the parallel. Ten seconds. He should be safe with the clock. Safe over the fences as well. Moya van der Bishop delivering another clear for Belgium, this time Nicolas Philipparts. What a year it's been. His rise and rise through the rankings has been something to enjoy, as he gives himself a chance here on a Sunday night in Mechlin. It's going to be a late night tonight. So 6 out of 12. Slipped over to the 50% mark. And then you look who comes next. The current holder of the Longines FEI Jumping World Cup, one of the moments of 2025, of course, when Julien Epillard lifted that trophy with this phenomenal gelding, the 12-year-old Donatella Dosh. And what another great year it's turned into for this gelding by Jarnac. So that really big win at the German Masters back in November in Stuttgart. Haven't had a win in December quite yet, but that could easily change over the next 3 days. Just got to ride each fence, hit his marks. Taking his time down to the combination. You'll know Donatello has the power to jump when he gets there. Final line. Safe with the clock. Not that that's ever a concern really for Julien, but he's clear. And Donatella Doge is in the mix. That'll make everybody nervous. There's a reason. We all know just how quick those two can be, and the world number 9 knows how to certainly extract the quickest round from any course with that particular partner. So So the clear rounds continue to build and build. And we then turn our attention now to Belgium once more with Annelies Wolsemans next to go. Another rider with so much quality and experience. This mare, the 10-year-old, is C Quality WZ by Comme Il Faut out of a Guidam mare. A couple of weeks off since, or a week or so off since jumping in Geneva. They had that 4th place finish in the big Masters event that took place in Lyon alongside the World Cup back in November. Gets a little bit of luck on her side as well, which sometimes you need. She'll be a little bit behind than some when it comes to the clock. I think she'll probably just about be okay, but she's not going to have a massive amount of room, is she? Is she going to be okay? No, she's not. We've seen a couple run up close to that 80 seconds. She's the first, unfortunately, to have fallen foul of it. She was just a little bit off in terms of the pace as she rolled back into the final line. That's when it started to become obvious, but I thought with the way it been going, she'd probably get the right side of it, but unfortunately she's 0.13 of a second the wrong side of the line. And C Quality WZ and Annelies Wolsemans will not progress. Meanwhile, next try to progress is Sweden, who have got one clear from Petronella Anderson. Now it's the turn of Marcus Westergren riding Rico de l'Esprit Z, this 11-year-old stallion by L. Jordan Z. So he's produced over the last few years and has put in some pretty decent results as well. He won the Grand Prix in Herning, that 3-star Grand Prix back in October. Jumped very well in Stockholm. Oh dear, oh dear. Unfortunately, Filani de Librizet just getting in a bit of muddled coming through the double. Understandably, realises that it's not all as should be this evening. And with those fences down, Marcus makes a quick snap decision, understandably so, to retire with Rico de l'Esprit Z, which means we sit still with 7 clears. Willem Vermeer, Gordon Petit, Daniel Duyser, Petronella Anderson, Cohen Verriek, Nicolas Philipparts, and the most recent of which, Julien Epillard. Now, Barbara Schnipper, she just missed on a win today. She finished in 2nd place a little earlier. With this ride, she had 3rd on her opening class in London last week. They jumped brilliantly in Oslo to finish in 5th in the Grand Prix, but they were never out of the top 8. It's been a super horse over the past few shows that they've been to together. It's Escoffier, now 16, this gelding by Lord Z. Plenty of experience for both horse and for rider. Here's the double now, comes across over the upright. Now back round into this line. They've really got a hold to get the 7 in and stay off that rail. Nicely done. Well, second earlier today, she's got the chance to go one better, and she's certainly no slouch against the clock. She'll be over the moon with the way, yes, Goffier is going. For Barvonic just walking away. It's not easy to be a course designer. It really is not. The pressure is immense. Trying to work out exactly what you need to do to challenge horses and riders in the fairest possible way. Yeah, in they come and clear they go. No, there's still another 30 or so to jump. This then is the turn of the British Star. The rider is Robert Murphy, based with Jos Lansik, who's gelding. This is, it's called, did I say gelding? I meant stallion. This is by Cador. It's Calox. Rob, who had the win in the Grand Prix of Salzburg the other day on Hulu de G. Jumped well there with this horse as well in the Masters class. He's had since, I guess, around about October time. Former ride of the Irish rider Max Watchman. Rob now on the rollback round towards this line that'll take him down to the combination. Got a good jump in. Shortening up. A little bit of a roll of the pole in the middle, but it's stayed up, so keeps that rhythm round the corner. Gets a lovely stride. Confidence will be high, but he'll know he's still got to get over the final 2 fences. Again, he'll get tight to the time. Is he in or is he over? Surely he's in. Brilliant clear from the Brit, as he does indeed deliver. Well done, Robert Murphy and Calox. All is coming together for that combination. Well done indeed. Robert will be delighted with the way he's got the horses performing at the moment. So, 9 through, 30 still to come forward. Certainly going to be a race when we get into that round against the clock, because now the turn of Michael Greer for the Netherlands with the beautiful Commissar Perzi, of course, the former star of Martin Fuchs. Martin, of course, had a lot of success with this particular horse, and now sort of October time, really, or September, October, really now, of course, very much in the hands of Michael, and they've had the success as well, of course, Leeuwarden, but then they went to Maastricht, where they had the big win on the opening night, ended up 7th in the Grand Prix, but more recently 4th in Salzburg, and they had the win in the 3-star 160 Grand Prix at Centaur just prior to Christmas. There is no doubting the ability of Commissar Perzi. Even at 12 years of age, this gelding by Commissaro is a real star, and Michael seems to have found a way to keep getting the best from him. So far making it look pretty simple. No reason to think that's going to change down the final line. Jumping absolutely brilliantly, Commissar Perzi. And Michael Greer, well, we're up to 10 already. With the way this lineup's building into the jump-off, we're going to see some impressive rounds to win it. We'll also see some good rounds that are going to end up outside the top 10, which is, I guess, all part of the game. There is a footing maintenance break halfway through, but there's another 5 to go before then. Going to turn now back to Belgium with Niels Brunsels here as he rides with Oki Flandria by H&M Cabrillo van der Heffingen out of a Camano mare, this Belgian mare. Thinking back to Maastricht, they had 3rd place on the Saturday night. Niels took over the ride in the middle of the summer. See the business seats there, absolutely packed out. Now turning round back towards fence number 9. Got to be so gently balanced on the 8. That gives you a really good stride into the combination. Nothing wrong with that, is there? Well done, Niels Brunsels, and well done to Oki Flandria. That jump off is building. Wonder how many we're going to end up getting. Really nice partnership those two make. Lovely looking horse. This is the turn of Leonie Peters next up, another then for Belgium. Tinkusha Hero Z. 15-year-old mare by the great Tinker's Boy. Out of a Diamante Sameli mare. Finished 3rd in the Grand Prix in Bonheiden back at the beginning of October. It's not going to get the chance to go into the jump off tonight. So, as often as we see it clear, we're then seeing fences fall as well. It's just over the 50% in terms of the number of clears. Unfortunately, one fence has cost them the chance of going any further, and they are on that score of 4 with Tinkusha Hero Z. Leonie Peters then for Belgium. Still, though, with 11 of them through. And of course, Annelies Volsman's just missed out by 0.13 of a second. But we'll stick with 11 for the moment. That was Leonie Peters from Belgium going round for a score of 4. There's the next to go, and he's also for Belgium, and he's also the highest ranked rider here this week on those world rankings. It is the world number 5 and the team gold medal winner, individual bronze medal winner, and of course a winner of the overall tour title on the Longines Global Champions Tour as well. What a year for Gilles Thomas tonight with the 10-year-old Callistus Gelding. Chuck Manatos said that he's had for just over a year, but they really have started to hit a stride together. He won the Grand Prix in Stockholm at the end of November, and they jumped pretty well in Geneva. Carefully does it, jumps in, gets away with a little tap on the way out. Well, they balance their way through that now. Gilles Thomas, of course, he's got this crowd very much trying to wish him well over every single fence, and they've only got one more. He's going to get tight on the clock here. Careful, Gilles, quick. No, no. 0.16 over. It's Gilles Thomas and Chuck Manatos Z. Falling foul of the time allowed, and unfortunately, that means they do not qualify for that jump off against the clock. We remain on 11, just like Annelies Wolsemans, just over 80.16. Well, frustrating. This crowd were hoping for that one, but they've still got plenty of home talent through, with 5 of the 11 clears riding for Belgium. Now for Ireland, Jessica Burke. Express Trend, the now 15-year-old gelding by Future Trend. It's proved again and again to be a very fast partnership, but tonight not going to get that chance to do it again. Some good international results this year, especially that trip to Ascona back in September. Also jumped well down in Italy when they went to Verona to the 5-star. But it's just not come off at the beginning here this evening, with those 2 early fences already giving them an 8 penalty score. Makes, I think, is she about to retire? She is. She knows that it was just about jumping a couple of fences more, really, after those that had gone down, to make sure that Express Trend is settled and ready for tomorrow. But bad luck to both Ireland there and Jessica Burke. One more to go before we take a little pause in proceedings because of the footing maintenance break, and then we'll come back with the second half of this opening round, live all night here on FEI TV. This is the man that, of course, has already got 2 wins on the Longines FEI Jumping World Cup circuit, with the wins coming his way in Stuttgart and again in Coruña with Pretty Woman. Lovely to see Gandorado here as well. But this is his 8-year-old stallion, Party in de Hus, this Canaan stallion for Villengreve. Out of a Cariano mare. Jumped last night in the stallions class, so we'll give them a chance to sort of settle into this arena. And you'll do so there watching on. What a team of horses he's got around him at the moment. Gets away with a gentle little tap and roll. It stays up in the centre part of that combination. Now, just these final 2 fences, and of course it'll be in the Dutch suddenly get 2 through, and that they do indeed. Well done, Willem and Villengreve there. Party in de Hus. It's been a party night all night in this house. It is clear round number 12, the dozen through so far of the 23 that have come forward, so around 50% of them. We're halfway there in the opening round. 24 still, though, to come. Venom Vermeer, Gordon Petit, Daniel Duisse, Petronella Radisson, Kern Verriek, Nicolas Philippart, Julien Epillard, Barbara Schnipper, Robert Murphy, Michael Grever, Niels Brunseels, and Willem Grever are your clears so far. All 12 safely through to the jump off. Take a short pause and come back. After a little bit of arena footing maintenance, we will return in a moment or two. Well, we're good to go, I think, with the second half of the opening round of this particular class here on a Sunday night in Mechlin, Jumping Mechlin 2025. The perfect way to round out a brilliant year of horse sport. And already we've seen some brilliant rounds of jumping because 12 of them have already got a place in the jump-off round. Willem Vermeer, Guram Petit, Daniel Duyser, Petronella Anderson, Koen Verriek, Nicolas Philippart, Julien Epillard, Barbara Schneiper, Robert Murphy, Michael Greve, Niels Brunseels, Willem Greve. Those are your clears as we go again with 24 of them still to jump in the opening round. It's now back with Belgium, Leon Borchardt, Coleon to Vidal, 13-year-old My Lord Carthago Stallion. Leon, who is still just 21 years of age, has been part of Belgium's youth setup, part of the gold medal winning team at that Young Rider European Championships in Riesenbeck in the summer. Unfortunately, that has gone down. It was his third medal in a row, fourth medal in a row. He's had 2 team golds in juniors and in Young Riders. Well, carrying the 8 penalties as it stands. Ooh, and just kicked out a little bit there. Coming through the final part of the combination. Part of the Young Rider Academy as well. You can see that by the little crest on his right arm. Not his night. Super young talent, has proved himself coming up through the ranks and part of a tremendous generation of young jockeys for Belgium, following in the footsteps of the likes of Gilles Thomas and Thibaut Spitz, Thibaut Philipparts and others. But tonight finishing on a total of 20, picking up time penalties as well. Right, Jules van Hooydonk staying with Belgium. Minnie van der Bishop, the 13-year-old mare by Plot Blue. This Belgian mare is out of a Parco mare. Jules, who's also part of that sort of younger generation. He's just 23 years of age. He rode this horse at the Young Rider Europeans in, I think it was in Italy, a couple of years ago when he was part of the silver medal winning team. Had a very good win with this horse last month in Rouen in the 4-star over a similar height. What a brilliant round that was to add his name, Jules van Hooydonk and Minnie van der Bishop, to the long list of clears that we now have. 13, lucky for him, lucky for some. He, of course, gets to go again in the jump-off against the clock. Touched it perfectly. Actually one of the slightly quicker times as well. Well, next to go, a young man from Hungary that's been in winning form tonight with Carbon Girl Z, the rider Vince Yami. This 10-year-old mare by Chester Z, jumping in London earlier in the week and making the quick trip to Mechlin this week. Rode at the Europeans this year in Spain, as well as also qualifying for the World Cup final with this ride in Basel back in April. Well, unfortunately, coming home on the 4 just judged it nicely with the time allowed, so that at least didn't become a problem, but still, nevertheless, picks up the 4 penalty score. Jenny Korsgaard is the next to go, the Norwegian rider, of course, very much part though of Team Philipparts here in Belgium. Jenny getting underway with Laurier, scalding by VDL Zorocco Blue out of a Chin mare. Comfortable in some big classes. She had that 4th place finish in the Grand Prix of Maastricht this year, as well as finishing 3rd at home in Oslo back in October. Back into this line down the middle. Comfortable with the 7 strides. Sadly, though, down goes the fence. The Carlsberg fence not showing any appreciation for the quality of the round up till that point, and finishing on a score of 4 with Laurier. Jenny, unfortunately, not able to complete the clear. So since the restart, just the 1 out of the 4. Therefore, we sit on 13 clear rounds. Picture sells 1,000 words. Now, on we go to Morocco. Turner Vincent Maragoin. Hugely experienced rider here with Cardentu Castano. Jumped well here last year. Oh dear, just pitched in, got deep, and took the front roll with him. Like Ardento, this 9-year-old gelding. Sadly having the plank down to take the score up to 12. Oh, crosses the line in the end with time as well, so 32 becomes the score. Come the end of the round for the partnership of Vincent Burgoyne and Carden du Castano. Back to Belgium for the next to go and back up the world rankings to number 15. On those current Longines rankings, it is Gregory Waterley. Always hugely popular here, and he's got this lovely horse owned actually by Steve Gerdat, of course, former rider Steve's. It is Double Jeu de Holvolt. But they've been tremendous partners, these two. They broke through with that brilliant win in the Queen's Cup on the Saturday night in Barcelona alongside the Longines League of Nations, and then went to Liège, where they had another win just a week or so later. By Canan out of a demi-de-mer. Well, sometimes you need a little bit of luck, even if it worries your supporters that are sat around this arena. He's had that moment. I think the time is fine. In fact, it's going to be one of the quicker times, and he's jumped the last, and Gregory Waterley is clear as well. That's a powerful partnership to have late in the draw as well. 14 through to the jump off against the clock. To think that not all the clears are going to end up in the money tonight. 56,800 euros will go down, what, to 12? So, as I suspected a little earlier in the first half with the way it was going, you're going to end up with clears. They're going to, some nights you get a clear, you're guaranteed some money. Tonight that's not going to be the case. Well, the next also rides for Belgium, Mike van Olst, with Comme il faut Rosette out of a Cannabis Z mare, and of course by the great Comme il faut, this 10-year-old mare has just rolled into that, just never really got the height, just bowled through the second fence, which is a shame. He'd had that win down in Italy. In fact, he'd had a couple of very strong results with this horse down in Italy towards the end of November, beginning of December. Well, it is the 4. Frustration of the second fence will be one to look back on, but Mike van Olst leaves the rest standing. She turns out to be one of the fastest on 4, second fastest 4. But that's not helping anybody this evening. Certainly shows you, though, with the way the clear rounds have been coming, the quality of the horse and rider combinations here this evening. Talking of which, more quality in the shape of the Dutch star, Michael van der Vleuten. Well, number 30 as things stand. He's got his 9-year-old stallion by Rock and Roll Sommelier. This is Costa van der Heffink. Belgian-bred stallion is out of a Contact van der Heffink mare. Some pretty consistent placings over the winter. Top 6 in the Grand Prix in Leeuwarden. They went well in Maastricht. They went well in Stockholm. A nice rhythm to this round. Of course, to remind you, we did get a couple of riders go around and pick up a time penalty. Annelies Walsemans and Gilles Thomas. There's not going to be that problem here. Michael really on the front foot as he comes through. Confident down into the combination, and he jumps the combination without any trouble. Final line. Perfectly judged on the 4 to finish as well. Michael is clear, and the Netherlands get their 3rd rider through to the jump off against the clock. Well, there you go. 15 clears and 16 still to jump. Michael van der Vleuten. We've still got another rider for another 2 riders actually for the Dutch to come. Well, in that lineup of clears, currently there is 1 for Switzerland, Barbara Schnipper. There are 2 riders to go still for the Swiss, and one of those is next up as we catch the replays here. Michael flying his way through. Now it's Edward Schmitz. Put in a super little round earlier today to finish in 3rd in the 1-round Fulton Time 5-star competition that we enjoyed around lunchtime. This 10-year-old is Abdul Jabbar du Gibet by Arezzo VDL out of a Charlie Z mare. That he took with him on that trip to Morocco back at the end of September, beginning of October, when he was on the Nations Cup team. Horse that did have quite a lot of time off over the summer. They've been going well last winter because they had the win in Gothenburg last February. No such luck as the combination catches them out with 2 parts going down. Well, comes home on a total of 13 as he does just go over the time allowed, 80.43, then picking up a single time penalty. And Edward Schmitz unable to join that lineup of clears. So going to be quite a speedy round against the clock. You can see the disappointment. He would like to have done better than that. France next up with 1 clear so far. That courtesy of Julien Epillard and Donatello Doge. Second chance is with Olivier Robert and his 11-year-old stallion by Epsilon. This is Esprit de Fierière AA. Jumped very well at the French round, or the early part of the Longines FEI Jumping World Cup season when he was in Lyon. He was twice in the top three over the opening couple of days, third and second with this particular horse. And it is a very competitive partnership. Well, 8 penalties with 3 to jump. Not to be tonight for Olivier. So from France to Italy, the one Italian challenge is with Clara Pizzoli, riding here with Edwin van Reven's Nest. Got some lovely horses as part of her stable. This 10-year-old mare by Comme il faut, former ride actually earlier this year of Villeneuve, but these two been building over the course of the summer. Stepped up and jumped a few of the 5 stars on the global tour in New York and in Rome. Jumped well in Verona and Corinna. Well, they got a long way round before, unfortunately, the course catches them out coming out of the combination. The back rail falls from seat. So it is another to, in fact, pick up a time penalty actually there as well. Clara Pizzoli, Hayden van Reven's Nest leaves us 13 still to jump. Ireland's second chance goes next as we just grab a couple of shots of the replays. Got deep into the first part, it left them completely out of sync really, and that unfortunately cost them when they got to the last part. Plenty of enthusiastic support, and that'll be the moment the pole went down. Now Ireland, Thomas Ryan and Jezebel BC. This 10-year-old gelding by Thunder Van Sutova for the Irish rider. Jumped very well in Poznan, beginning of the month. Has also put in a solid performance back in Oslo in the opening leg of the Western European League when they finished in 8th in the Longines FEI Jumping World Cup's first round this year. Well, Ireland indeed will have a part to play in that jump-off, and that impressive performance sees Ireland's Thomas Ryan and Jazabu BC go through to the jump-off. Nicely done. And of course, the advantage is that those we see jump clear at the moment, of course, we know will be towards at least the back end of the jump-off draw. Ireland, the Netherlands, Belgium, Great Britain, Switzerland, France, Sweden, Germany, all with riders through. Belgium, of course, with the lion's share of those, and of course, the Dutch are not far behind. Now it's Austria's turn, and Katharina Romberg. Cassina 95. Here's the 8-year-old mare by Cassis. This younger horse just sadly having the second fence down, unfortunately. It hasn't jumped a huge number of 150s. It's only the third 150. Well, what a shame for that early fence, because Cassina certainly has settled into her stride, and she's jumping a beautiful round here with Katharina. She might pick up a time penalty, but either way, she just couldn't quite reach out over the final fence. But there was plenty to enjoy and a lot to learn as well, I'm sure, for the 8-year-old Met as she goes round there for a total of 11 penalties come the end of it all. 11 left to go. Well, next up, it is the winner of the Masters from last night. Man that has won so much in his career. This is Steve Gerdant in his European Championship ride from the summer. This is the beautiful of our friends Ishani Sit. Now 11, this gelding by Bamako de Muse out of a Tinker's Boy mare. He had that brilliant win in the Coupe de Genève. Of course, that took place in Geneva just 2 weeks ago. And Ishani said I had a little bit of time off after Spruce Meadows, so really just came back ready for Geneva. And not over jumping the horses. We saw that yesterday with Lance Lotter coming back as well. Obviously, Steve's had some time out this year as well, but he's got a tremendous yard and stable of horses, and he makes sure they get their downtime as well. He was an absolute... He really lived up to, I think was the best way to put it, to the title of the class last night. His performance in the ultimate jump-off, a 170 jump-off over the 6 fences that were there come the final round of the Masters. His balance, composure, his absolute ability of being able to get a horse to trust him and jump and get them to believe in what he's asking was just on display. And of course you can go back and watch that, but this is another cracking round so far, although I get the feeling he's going to get a little tight to the time. He's going to be very tight to the time. Steve, in fact, might be a little over the time here, and he is just. Same story as we saw with Gilles Thomas and Annelies Wilsemans leaving the fences up, but just going over the time allowed. And our friend Ishani Sit, sadly, from Steve's point of view, is not going to come back in the jump-off round. Well, now Frederick Venet back with Belgium. I think this is Belgium's last rider to go in the draw. No, there is another. Sorry, I take that back. But this is Quatreme L. Lovely stallion. Actually saw the jumping last night in the stallions class. The first of the 5-star competitions here this week. By Corin Van Tienel out of a Toulon mare, this 9-year-old. Again with penalties, so still we sit at 16. It's certainly, I mean, what did we get to the halfway mark of the class? I'm trying to think how many clears we've had since the halfway mark now. We've had 4 since the restart. 4 of the 16, so yeah, 12 in the first half. So far only 4 in the second half, but there's still 9 more to go, so we could easily marry up. Well, total of 5. He's just picked up a time penalty, 1/100th of a second over from Frederick Venet and Quatreme L. Next to go, we turn back to Germany with that clear already from Daniel Deusser. Now it's the turn of Felix Schulze-Tophoff and the exciting Corny M, who had a brilliant win a little earlier here today in that warm-up class this afternoon. This gelding by Connor of the Ashford Farms is quite a character, shall we say. And Philip certainly knows how to get the best out of him. Having seen the pace they can show a little earlier on, it'd be great if they are clear, because it'll give us some real pace at the end of the jump off or at the back end of the line that we know is there. Yeah, jigging ever closer, 3 fences to go. Oh no! Final fence has gone down, and with it, the opportunity to jump for a second win in a day has gone with it. But it is a fence that has caught out 1 or 2 tonight. Felix Schulze-Tophoff, Corny M, not going to be going through the young German rider. Still another chance for Germany to come. Still the one clear for Germany, Daniel Deusser, who's certainly going to give them a chance early doors. Riding every stride with him now, the turn of Belgium's last to go, because this is the third member of the Philipparts family. Of course, one of them is clear. Nicolas Philipparts is through to the jump off. Olivier misses out. Now it's Thibault's turn. Can he join in with the 8-year-old gelding Royal Vant Schroekel? Just 24 years of age, this young man. This 8-year-old by no doubt Van Het Villenhoff, and out of a Triomphe de Rivelan mare. Oh, I was about to say has also just stepped up tonight into a 150 for the first time, but has really been performing well in the young horse classes and coming up through the ranks this year. on the 4, so in on the clock. Timo Philipparts not able to get through. 7 more to jump. Sitting on the 16. Of course, he'll, I'm sure, be there to support Nicolas when he has his opportunity to go against the clock. At the moment, it's still Thomas Ryan, the Irishman, that is the last to go as things currently stand in that jump-off round. Still 2 to go for the Dutch, 1 for Portugal, 1 for Germany, 1 for France, 1 for Great Britain and 1 for Spain. So here we go with the first 2 for the Netherlands in the final 7. It's Leopold van Asten with the beautifully experienced and lovely gelding VDL group Nina de Rotan, the gelding by Ironman van der Paderborn out of a Codex mare. Jumped well in Coruña. That was just a few weeks back. Of course, they had that 2nd place in Maastricht as well as the 3rd in the Grand Prix in Livolden back in October. It's the sort of horse and sort of class that could easily have a say. Clears at the moment for Michael Greer and Willem Grever, as well as Michael van der Vleuten. So 3 at the moment for the Netherlands, but not 4 yet. There is still Bas Moorings to come. Sadly, it's 8 and not tonight for Leopold van Asten, then a VDL group at Nina de Rotan. So we'll see what happens with the final part of the lineup from the Netherlands in due course. I thought we saw Timo a minute ago. Now it's Ima. This is Spain's chance tonight. Ima Roquero Tunel riding here with Rola de la Macette, 10-year-old mare Bindret del Macette. Part of Spain's lineup at the Nations Cup final in Barcelona this year. They combination that jumped well at home in Coruña as well a few weeks ago. Well, we have another. It's Spain this time that joined the jump off. Well done there to those 2. They are in great form at the moment. Rola del Macette and Ima Roquero Tunel joining the lineup. One clear so far for Great Britain. We could now have the chance for another because the 2nd British Challenge comes with Samuel Dehaan. As he here with Joanne Sloan-Allen and his Oscar A. The 11-year-old stallion by Harley. Jumped in the World Cup legs in Oslo and in Stuttgart. Unfortunately, not tonight. So we hold fire on 17. Well, they finish on a total of 8, Oscar A and Samuel Dehan, so it is just Robert Murphy out of the 2 British riders that's going to go through to that jump-off against the clock. Final 4. France, Germany, the Netherlands and Portugal, and it's France now with that one clear so far from Julien Epinard and Donatella Dosch. Now Julien Akatin and Baudelaire Brizet, the lovely gelding, 12 years of age, by Biscuit Balusi, former ride, of course, the Kevin Stout. Very successful ride with Kevin as well. Been with Julien since the autumn. Jumped very well in Valencia and in Rio over the course of November. Still though quite early for these two in their time together. So still clear as he comes back into the line down to the combination. Had to shorten and shorten and shorten. He was constantly trying to find the right distance to get to the 7. Oh, hang on a moment. The bridle's come off. That's probably a little bit disconcerting if you're sat on the back. And there's not a lot you can do. He's reaching over, trying to reposition the bridle. You have to make the decision to get off, but of course the reins are still round the neck, groomed straight in. Such a shame. But the stop obviously had undone the round anyway, but it's a disappointment you can see there. But most importantly, both absolutely fine because he's also padded. Just one of those things. Handing things over. Great arena team. You could see the actually arena team had the spare head collar out there in the middle ready to go, and we're immediately on it. So we're into the final 3. Germany still just have one clear round. That was, as we know, Daniel Deusser. Every reason to think that these two have it in them, and certainly have plenty of pace in them when they've had the opportunity to shine in the past. Hans-Dieter Dreher, the world number 32, here for Germany tonight with his beautiful gelding Vestival de Cotis, this now 16-year-old by Balabet de Rouet. He's out of a Landores mare. It was his ride at the World Cup final back in April. Of course, there's also the combination we should remember that won the Longines FEI Jumping World Cup round here in Mechlin 12 months ago. So returning to the site of that brilliant victory. I mean, what December they had last year. If you go back, Madrid, they won the winning round. They went to Coruña a week later, had 2 massive wins there on the opening 2 nights. Then came here to Mechlin a couple of weeks after that and won the World Cup. So you can't really do more than he managed with Estemal 12 months previous. But tonight is not his night, as has been the case for many. And still not come as easy in the second half. You know, we got that 12 clears out of the first half, 5 in the second half so far, with just 2 to go after hands. Lovely jump over the last time penalties as well. Not tonight for Vestermalta Scottis, although, of course, his focus will be Tuesday at 3 p.m. when things get underway in that Longines FEI Jumping World Cup qualifier. So, with 2 left, it's Bas Morings for the Netherlands, the 10-year-old. Givernia then, the mare by on Special Demuse. Bas has got a couple of really lovely horses. This is one of them, but he's given that a rattle, but it has stayed up. So he's been producing, and he's produced it all the way up through the levels. They had that lovely win in the 2-round competition in Stuttgart, as well as a 3rd place, both at 155. That was the last show these two were at. But she's jumping just as well here tonight in Mechlin as she did last month in Germany. Beautifully done. Now, Bas Morings does indeed give the Dutch their 4th clear round. 18 clears with 1 combination left to go in the opening round. And it's going to be the man from Portugal that's last up, but well done to Bas Morings. She's a really solid mare. She really enjoys what she's doing, and she jumps some fine rounds. Of course, we know these guys and girls that have given us the most recent clears are the last to go. Could well be Bas is the last to go if these two don't jump clear, but let's see what happens. GB Diamantina, it is Portugal last up. Of course, Rodrigo Gastir Almeida. That 3rd place with this ride in Stuttgart. 2nd as well on the opening day in Stuttgart with this particular horse. Of course, he then went on with his other ride to finish in 2nd of the World Cup. But this is still quite a new horse, and he only really started with in October. But he's on the 4, and it does mean Bas Morings will be the last to go, and it does lock in, unbelievably, 18 clear rounds tonight. It's going to be quite some jump off. I'll be curious to see if they all go, but with the money on offer, which is what, 56,800 euros, I don't see that they won't. But obviously there'll be some of the clears going home penniless, but ultimately it's going to give us some fabulous sport to watch the chase. Because there's some really strong combinations coming back in that round against the clock. I think he's decided. Well, that is it for the opening round of the qualifier for the Longines FEI Jumping World Cup here in Mechlin. The qualifying class tonight for the World Cup leg that takes place on Tuesday as the team go to work, and the course is now shortened down for what is set to be quite some jump off. 18 partnerships have managed to outdo the course designer and deliver a clear Willem Vermeer, Gordon Petit, Daniel Deuser, Petronella Anderson, Kern Verriek, Nicolas Philippart, Julien Epillard, Barbara Schnipper, Robert Murphy, Michael Grever, Niels Brunseels, Willem Grever. Flip the page and on we go to Jules van Hooijdonk, I'll go ahead of it, Gregory Waterley, Michael van der Vleuten, Thomas Ryan, Ima Rocket, Utinel for Spain, and the last to go is the Dutchman, Bas Moorings and his exciting mare, Kivania. Pick a winner from that lot. Good luck. Let's take a little breather, and then we go against the clock with the jump off here tonight at Jumping Mechlin. It's certainly lined itself up to be one to enjoy and not to miss. It's going to be seriously quick. That is for sure.
Korte 3 naar de afsluiter van de proef.
Well, that's better. I was looking at one list and it went blank. Now we've got the real list. Here we go. Willem Vermeer, Magic, first to go. What a way to come back and jump clear as the first out in that round. Good and Petit from Belgium, Seacoast Chica. Then it'll be Daniel Deuser with his World Cup winner from Verona, Otello. The second of the Stefex team, Petronella Anderson, going through with Opaline de WNS, Cohen, Verique and Merriweather, the Masters winner here last year. Belgium's Nicolas Philipparts, of course, part of the gold medal winning team in the summer, tonight with Moya van der Bishop. Julien Pellard, of course, who the reigning holder of the World Cup title with Donatella Dosch. Barbara Schnipper, Escoffier, Barbara second earlier, looking to go one better tonight. Robert Murphy, the winner of the big Grand Prix in Salzburg the other week. Different horse tonight, but it's a stallion that he's certainly finding the best with. Calox, looking forward to that. Michael Greve and the star, Commissar Percy, don't look away when they're in the arena, because that could well be a winning combination with the form that both have found since coming together. Niels Brunsseels, O'Keefe Landria, that beautiful mare, just seems to get better and better. Willem Greve, Paddy in the Hus, the 8-year-old young ride in the class tonight, but Willem in the form of his life, and of course the horses just going with him. Jules van Hooijdonk, Minute van der Bishop, then you've got Gregory Waterloo, his Queen's Cup winner from Barcelona, Double Jeu de Holvolt, that horse of Stieg Gerdans, Michael van der Vleuten, Costa van der Heffing, the 9-year-old for the Dutchman, Thomas Ryan with Jezebel BC, really smooth in the opening round. Emma Roquette Utenel has been jumping some really decent rounds on Evola de Marset, the lovely mare, the 10-year-old, that's certainly becoming the star of her stable. And Bas Morings, it will not be over until he is gone, because Kevenia was in such great form in Stuttgart. If that flows through here to Mechlin, then there's every reason to think they will stand a very good chance as well. So those are your 18 contenders to come back against the clock. There's Bart Avonik, the course designer. It is one of the toughest jobs in our sport, setting the challenge for the horses and riders. And okay, we got 18 of them through. Full marks to all 18. They managed to overcome his challenge. But it is such a difficult challenge to balance up. But better you balance it this way than the other. And ultimately, when the horses and riders are as good as they are, course designer's job is nigh on impossible, especially at 1.50 m with this quality field here tonight. And it all kicked off in the opening round with the return of a little bit of magic. Magic Event Hulgerod Z, Willem Vermeer After a little bit of time out since the early part of the season, came back with that brilliant round as the very first to go in the opening round. So their gift is to get to do it again now in the jump-off round. How's this going to work out? We'll find out as we get going. The course starts over what was fence 11. So that is the Carlsberg fence, but then they begin to adjust things from there. It's as easy to watch the first one go round. Magic Van Rosed, this lovely 10-year-old mare. It'll be interesting to see how Venom really decides he wants to approach this with so many to follow. You know, how much do you want to push? If you're going to go early, you need to go clear. Whoever is the first clear is the partnership that puts the pressure on the rest. So it's the balancing act, but he looks like he's about to pick up a decent amount of pace. He's come deep into the corner to get a nice strong canter. Off we go in the jump off here tonight in Mechlin. Now turn back, coming inside. A long run again down to what was the middle of the combination. Now you turn left-handed back into this double. A and B. Again, turning. Lots of twists in this track here this evening. Back over the World Cup fence now, round to the right. Two fences left to jump, and it's from one end of Mechlin to the other, the Christmas Arena, the full length of it. As well as Vermeer, Magic Van Rosed. Oh, he almost added a little stride. He did add a little stride. It just lost the rhythm right at the very finish, and that unfortunately cost him the 4. 43.25 was the time on the clock. It's one of those lines you've gonna have to gamble on a night like tonight. Just had that brief moment of indecision where they sort of were stuck between two decisions, and that was enough to put them on to the back rail of the final fence. He wasn't wasting time early on. He was certainly keeping the pressure on, but he just ended up too far away. There won't be much slow, you wouldn't have thought, for Gooden. She's one of the fastest from Belgium. And this mare has got the form on her side as well. Chica VVZ. Second of the chances for Belgium then for Gooden Petit. Now the turns. It's asking you to sort of turn and run each time. Look at that. Absolutely flies. Then again comes around the corner. Now needs to be a little careful. A. B. There's the split. She's 2.4 faster. Into the final set of rollbacks. One more to go. Turning back to the right. You've got to think she'll gamble on the run to the last. If she can see the stride, she'll take it. Good and Petit doing what she can to put this out of reach early on. Oh, brilliant. Absolutely flies over the final fence. Chica takes to the top. And that gives us a hugely impressive round to try and beat. There's a long way to go. She's going to have an awfully long wait, but you can't think that that's going to drop too far down. 40.60. Could be enough. But is it? Good run of the best there with Chica VVZ. Look how fast the acceleration. Once she got the turn in, Chica just picks up the pace. You can see the ears prick forward. Could see the stride so far away. Really smooth. But now the first of two for the Stefek stables. This Germany's chance tonight with Daniel Deusser and his Verona World Cup winner. His Grand Prix winner from Le Bourg. It is Otello de Golden Boom, Germany's Daniel Deusser. Can he do anything to put Gooden under a little bit of pressure, and then, if he can, get past her, put the pressure on those that are yet to come? Oh, yes he can. Look at this. This is certainly one very fast race already this evening. Now, really nip and tuck. Wait for the split. He's just had to steady up. Holding He's got nearly a second in his pocket. Daniel Deuser has made the time early on. Oh, no. Out of nowhere. Just, isn't that nice to see, though? Just gives his horse a little pat. Almost overreacted to the check he used to balance up as he came off the corner, and for some reason Otello just maybe mixing the signal up. It is a weirdly positioned fence, of course, as well, because you've got the other fence just beside it, which creates a distraction. But the way he set off, he was like a rocket at the beginning. And look at this beautiful confidence building to the finish there from Daniel Deuser. Keep an eye out for them in the World Cup leg on Tuesday. Of course, we've got a World Cup on Tuesday, but we've also got a Grand Prix tomorrow night. Plenty of big sport here in Mechlin, and of course, not only is it jumping, it is driving, it is dressage. Tomorrow we have the Dressage World Cup. We've got the first leg of the Driving World Cup on Tuesday. We've got the second round of the Driving World Cup. We've got the FEI Longines Jumping World Cup. We've got the FEI Ponies Trophy Final, and everything else that comes in between. Mechlin is keeping us busy. Steve Gerdat watching on from the side, of course, missed out by a single time penalty. So unfortunate there. Right, chance number 2 for the Stevex team. Petronella Andersson now with Opilien de WNS. Sweden, of course, for Petronella, but very much part of Belgium's big stable at Stevex. This 11-year-old mare by Toulon. Smooth. Try to be careful as well. How's this going to compare when she gets into the double? I think she's a little bit behind at the moment, but it won't be a huge amount. 1.41 seconds. Is there anything you do to bring that back? She needs a really smooth jump over the upright and a good turn back, and then she'll have to run all the way down this Christmas arena. That was a brilliant turn. Now, has it helped her? Petronella Andersson chasing to the line. 40.60 is the time to beat. There's not a lot in it. Not a lot at all. She caught up quite a margin with that turn in. Ends up just 0.3 of a second away from Gudrun Petit. When you consider she was nearly 1.5 seconds down through the double, it shows you can make up time on Gudrun. There's time to be had out there, but you've got to be able to put it all together. Great effort from Petronella Andersson to go into second and give us the second clear round. 12 months ago, this partnership won the Masters here at Mechlin. The power jumping came their way. They need the power and the pace tonight for Merriweather, Vent, Lirkenhoff and Cohen-Verriek. Belgium's next chance. One of 5 partnerships for Belgium still to go. Mare with a lovely big stride, and when she uses it, she can cover the ground nice and quickly. Has he got the abilities on the turns? Where's this going to sit? Not far off, surely. He's closer than Petronella was. Smooth, but I don't know that he'll get that turn back. He's going to come on that inside line. He's gone for it, but he hasn't quite got there. Oh. They're all having to take risks. It's not a comfortable position for these riders to be in. Gudrun Petit has put a huge amount of pressure on, but it isn't just that. It's just at the moment they know that with the early draws that they're having, if you don't try, the chances are you'll fall out of the money. There's so many still to come. We've still got 13 to come forward. 5 have gone. Cohen goes 4th. So the 2 clears holding sway at the top and split by just 0.3 of a second. Here was the turn. He looked on that inside, just never really had the stride, and sadly Merriweather said not on this occasion. Well, Belgium once more, world number 13, and Belgium's gold medal winner on the team in the summer. tonight with his mare, Moya van de Bishop, the 13-year-old by the great Darko. For Nicolas Philipparts, there'll be a lot of hope for these two around this arena. Gets the turn. Really asking plenty. And look at what she's willing to give. Shortened up. Oh, really nicely done. Oh dear. Just sadly having the first part down, although he was quicker than Good and Petit. But again, it comes back to the pressure that they're all under. It's a fast enough round that she's put up that isn't going to be easy. Home on the 8, 42.79. So not to be for Nicolas Philipparts. And Moya van der Bishop, still just 2 out of the 6 so far that have left all the fences standing. But again, that's because they're all trying so hard. Phenomenal arena, great way to look up. It's the most amazing ceiling with those Christmas trees just floating in the air. Just a little slip as he came round the corner, and perhaps that was enough just to unbalance things coming down to the double. But if we'll see what happens next. And if Goodwin was going to come under pressure from anybody early in the draw, it'll be the next combination. The reigning champions of the Longines FEI Jumping World Cup. Basel was all about Donatella Doge and Julien Epillard. One of the fastest partnerships the sport has seen. If they bring it together, they usually can be the most unbeatable partnership. And we're set to at least try. Here we go, Donatella Doge. The speed to which this horse can accelerate and then the control to which Julien has is just what makes them such a formidable force. Nip and tuck, but he's got 3/10 in his pocket, and look how quick he's come around the corner, and he saw the stride. He shortened up where he needed to. Will he come tight on the inside? Surely, yes. Oh, Donatello, go! Now, to the last for Julien Epillard. He's got a 40.60 as the time to beat. He took a little pull, but surely he'll jump it, and that is what they do. Well rewarded with the applause, but that was those two doing what we absolutely love. It makes them one of the most exciting combinations in the sport when you see them try, and together they try. It is never just one. They have to do it as a team. How he got himself, and the two of them got themselves out of trouble as a second to last. A big applause even there from Steve as well. So 38-34. He took a big chunk out of the leading time of Good and Petit, but is it enough? With still 11 to jump. Here we go with one of the fastest from Switzerland, Barbara Schnipper and Escoffier. Is there anything this lady can do? There's quite a gap now between first and second as well for them to try and slot into. She's gonna try. She's never looking to go too slowly, but sadly just found her way onto the front rail. And to think we're not even halfway through this jump off yet. Coming home on a total of 12. Not to be for the Swiss tonight. It is still France that lead from Belgium and Sweden. The 3 clear rounds, Julien Epillard, Good and Petit and Petronella Anderson. 10 to go. Well, now the one British chance this evening. The 25-year-old Robert Murphy. Hugely successful throughout his youth career. He won the British National Championships, has been now based with Jos Lansing, and of course recently had that brilliant win in the Grand Prix in Salzburg on Hulda G. This is Calox, though, a horse to which he's really finding a way with now. And he got that brilliant clear in the opening round. Confidence will be high. Robert Murphy for Great Britain. Whoop, hello. Oh dear, no, the front rail's gone as well. He also then picks up faults. On the 8th today, but as always tomorrow. Callox then coming down to the last, saw the stride and jumps it nicely, so they go into 7th place. So we are now halfway through. 9 have gone and 9 to go, still 3 clears. 3 to go for Belgium, 4 to go for the Netherlands, 1 apiece for Ireland and Spain. But it is all about chasing that combination from France that are out in front at the moment. There's the pole that put pay to the round for Robert. Is that down there, Pete, watching on? Well, you would believe there'll be a challenge to Julien with these two. They've certainly been enjoying each other's company since this combination came together a few months ago. It really does seem a very strong match in the form of Commissar Pezzi, the former top ride of Martin Fuchs, but now going very well with Michael Grieve. This for the Netherlands. First of the 4 Dutch chances tonight. Brilliant, really quick. They'll be nearly in, you would think they'll be in touch. Are we going to get a split? 20.74, 0.31, it's just about doable from there. It is now, because he got a much smoother line on the rollback turn, and if he can do that again here, then it is game over as the second to last goes down. It is the tiniest of differences that makes such a big difference when it comes to the final result. 39.11 as he went over the line. He would have gone second, but it is on 4 into 4th. And a little shake of the head there for Michael and Commissar Pezzi. Maintain that round as Julien Epilards is beatable, but you need to be perfect. And perfect is virtually impossible. But some of these riders and some of these horses regularly show us that what we think is impossible is in fact possible. And that with 8 still to go, we're not done yet. Plenty of support for this man, there always will be. Hugely popular, Niels Brunner-Seals. It's been great listening to Niels as well on the horse show with Frederick de Backer and of course Joe Clee. Real insight there each weeknight, each week on the platform. But tonight he's showing us with Oki Flandria, the 11-year-old mare. Niels Brunner-Seals for Belgium. Opening up the reins, allowing Oki to run. Now just brings that control back. Now he'll go for the turn. 20.43 is the split compared to Julien Epilard. He got a lovely jump in and a lovely jump out. So he's there or thereabouts. 0.79 is the difference at the moment, but he can still do it if he gets a really tight rollback turn here, but he needs to be smooth. Up and down, 1 to go. It's Belgium chasing France for the top spot. 38.34 is the time to beat. He flies the last, and he's brilliant effort from Niels Brunner-Seals. He gave everything there, and he lands in second place ahead of Gudrun Petit. He's just about a second faster than Gudrun, but he's a second or so away from Julien. What a jump off this is tonight. Jumping Mechlin at his best. And still they chase. Julien Epiard and Donatella Dosch. But round of applause there. Supreme effort, great riding. Allowed Oki to run when it was possible, but had the control of the mare when she needed. Brilliant smooth turns, and he got a lovely shot here to the Longines fence. And that is certainly a part of the course where time can be made on Julian Epillard. Now, back to the Netherlands, this time with Willem Greve. The form he's been in has been quite remarkable, with 2 wins on the World Cup circuit already in Stuttgart and Coruña, but of course that with his more experienced and top horse, Pretty Woman, now with the 8-year-old, the 1 8-year-old to qualify for this jump off, but it is quite some stallion. It's Party in de Hus, Willem Greve. Still just 4 clear rounds at the moment. Keeping a nice rhythm. He can't push this one as fast as we've seen the likes of Gudrun and Niels and Julien go. But what he can do is play sensible and pick up a clear. Because with the pace they've all been going, the mistakes have been aplenty. Certainly going to be a nice, strong member of the team for next year as well, from Willem's point of view. 47.94, he is clear. And, of course, with 6 to go, he's guaranteed to pick up some euros tonight. Big Pat happy with the way Party in de Hus has jumped that double clear round here this evening. Can't ask any more of that 8-year-old stallion by Canaan. So with 6 more left, France lead. Still 2 to go from Belgium, 2 to go from the Netherlands, 1 from Spain and 1 from Ireland. Julien Epillard, Niels Brunsels, Gudrun Petit, Petronella Anderson, Willem Greve. That's the 1 to 5, all clear. Now the turn of the young man for Belgium, Jules Van Hooijdonk, one of the 2 left in the draw. 23 years of age, plenty of support here in Mechelen with Minute van der Bishop, the Plot Blue mare. And he is absolutely committed from the beginning. Gets away with a little rub. Leans forward. Quick on the accelerator. Has the control to jump the upright. Now the turn back towards the double. Oof, again, just a little tip of the toe, but he's still there or thereabouts in terms of the time. If he can get a nice smooth line, and he has over the World Cup fence, he has to come tight. The clock ticks down. He gets over the upright. It comes down to the chase to the last. 38.34 is the time to beat. Again, it's Belgium chasing France. And he's gone into second. Best of the rest. He got within 0.62 of Julien Epillard and Donatella Dosch. The 23-year-old has just given himself a tremendous round of jumping on Minute van der Bishop. That was so good. Tiny fractions. You're comparing yourself against one of the fastest, if not fastest, combinations in the sport. And he was so close to doing it. 0.6 of a second, that's all it is. He committed as well. He was brave when he needed to be. Between them, they trusted each other, and that was what mattered. And it means we now have Belgium second, Belgium third, and Belgium fourth. Jules Van Hooijdonk, Niels Brunsels, and Gudrun Petit, although still tucked in behind Julien Epillard. They're very happy. Second sometimes is as good as a win. But look at this man, means business. You can tell this. Look at Gregory Waterley. He already up to the gallop before he got halfway towards the first fence. It's double jeu de haut vault. Belgium and Gregory Waterley mean business tonight. Come on, Gregory. He had that brilliant win in the Queen's Cup with this ride in Barcelona. He is gone for it from the beginning. Oh, is he going to get in? Yes. Is he going to get out? Yes. Now turn again. He's got 0.74 of a second. Oh, no. He slowed down. Even slowing down, he shows he would have perhaps and probably would have done it had he been clear. Again, you cannot fault the effort in a sport where things like that happen. I mean, Gregory just doing everything he could right from the beginning. I've never seen anyone go for quite such a run-up. But he didn't want to give away even a tenth of a second. He wanted the pace from the beginning. And the moment you break that beam, you've got to keep going forward. And look at how brave this was. And the end of it all, even the shot back into the double, this was the fence that fell. Just clipped it, couldn't find enough room. And then there were four. Steve Gerdat was willing him to do well. Now the turn of Michael van der Vleuten. I think Steve will be gutted he's not in this jump off, because his one penalty, of course, stopped him going through. But I think he's one of the riders tonight that would have loved the opportunity to take on Julian now with the 9-year-old. Quasta van der Heffink, the Dutch star, Michael van der Vleuten, then again looking to pick up a nice forward rhythm, gets deep into the corner, wants to get nice and straight, and here we go. Do these two they have enough experience together to be able to put the sort of round together that is actually now needed tonight? He's certainly going to have a go. The thing is, even if you want second, third or fourth, you can't be hanging around. Ultimately, there's 2.5 seconds covering the top 5 at the moment in the order, and they're all clear. But it's proving to be the trickiest part of the jump off, along with the fence that follows it. Big leap at the last. Michael goes 10th. 1 of 5 to finish on a score of 4. And Julien Epillard edging ever closer with 3 now. 3 combinations to go, although that wasn't the combination I was expecting. I was looking for the partnership from Ireland, but this is the partnership. Is it? It doesn't look like Thomas, it looks like Ima. No, it's just, you can try and convince me later, but I'm sure it's Ima Roquette-Houtenel that is in the arena, and whether they've just come in out of order or we've lost Thomas, we'll find out in due course. But this is the Spanish chance. Rovola de Marset. Clear round at this point is going to be valuable as well. Get into the back end of this draw with just those 6 clear rounds as it stands. And of course, Willem Grevers was relatively steady, so you can look to try and push up into the top 6, which at this point is a really solid performance and keeps that great run that these two have been having going. And I'm sure I'll wait to be corrected on them. It's definitely Ima. So that was Spain. I'm sure the system will work itself out in a moment and move that time over to the Spanish partnership, and we'll find out in a moment what happened to Thomas Ryan, although I get the feeling it could just be something as simple as she's come early. And I'm picking up something on the arena, but we'll find that out in a moment. So there's either 1 or 2 left to go, but it's Julien Epillard that's still leading the way with Dorotella Dosh. I said he hadn't won a big class in December. Is that about to change? Quite possibly it will. So my suspicion is that Thomas is not going, but that was definitely Ima, that's confirmed. This is Bass, which would indicate because I can't, well, unless he was willing to move up, that would be unusual, but it hasn't come up as a withdrawal. Bas Moorings it is, we know. I'm going to work on the principle that I'd be surprised if Thomas is jumping because the last is now in. So let's wait and see. But of those two, this was the mare I was excited to see. She had that brilliant win last time out in Stuttgart. She was in tremendous form there. She is quick. She is a real star, this 10-year-old. It is the Dutch Challenge, the last potentially to go. And he's certainly going to try. Good luck, Bas. Here we are. Shortened up, wants the turn tight. And he's managed it. Now he needs the pace. As I said before, if you're slow, you're going to fall out of the top 5 really quickly here tonight. 20.43 as the split gets in. Surely he's not far away. He's within 3/4 of a second. Little check, but he found his way over. Can he come tight? This is a part you can make up time. Now, up and down and run to the end. 38.34 is the time to beat. It's going to be absolutely nip and tuck for Bas Moorings. Gavinia over the final fence. 39.42 over the line to finish in third. Well done, Bas Moorings. So, congratulations to the Dutch rider as he finishes there in third. Now, there is a lot of clearing going on, so that makes me think that we do indeed. Thomas has withdrawn. It's only just come up. Well done to Julien Epillard, winner on Donatella Dosch here tonight in Mechlin, the qualifier for Tuesday's World Cup leg of the Longines FEI Jumping World Cup has gone the way of the reigning holder of the Longines FEI World Cup title from Basel this year, Julien Epillard and Donatella Dosch. We've seen some quite brilliant rounds from some superstar horses and riders, though, up and down the field in a jump-off that had to be seen to be believed with all that 17 of them that came forward. Jules van Hooijdonk will take second place here tonight, ahead of Bas Moorings and Niels Brun Seals. Petronella Anderson, Willem Greve and Gregory Waterley are your top 8. But when you look at it and look at the times on the right-hand side, Julien Epillard 38.34, you look all the way down like that. Gudrun and Petronella, we're only talking, what, 2.5 seconds between them all? But look how close Jules got to the top spot. Superb from the 23-year-old for Belgium. It has been a brilliant night, and we've still got 2 brilliant days to come, including 3 World Cups, dressage, driving and jumping, ponies added in, and more 5-star action. This time tomorrow night we'll be finding out who's won the Grand Prix here in Mechlin, and we're going to bring every single stride, every single moment to you live. So I'm going to let you enjoy the presentation, and I'm going to say good night and look forward to a little bit of dressage tomorrow morning. In the meantime, from the jumping, from the qualification class for leg 7 on Tuesday. I'll remind you, Phil Ghazala and the team are here at 3 p.m. for the start of that one on Tuesday afternoon. Much, much more to come from Mechlin as we enjoy this run towards the new year. Well done again tonight, Julien Epillard and Donatella Dosch.
CEO van KBC Bank Verzekering. We zouden ook nog heel even de momentje maken voor de heer Clément. Welkom dames en heren, Clément is al jarenlang trouwe lid van ons comité. Met een grote waardering willen we Clément Schietkamp bedanken. Al jarenlang mee in de drijvende krachten achter de groepmengelen en achter zijn gidsen. Dankzij zijn torenloze inzet, visie en enthousiasme is de gidsen uitgevoerd door de onvergetelijke belevenis voor talloze kinderen. Zijn onafhankelijk en betrokkenheid zorgt steeds voor de goede samenwerking met collega's, partners en artiesten. Zijn werkelijke media zorgen er immers voor dat de groepmengelen een lokale aandacht op de radio en televisie. Clément is geen andere
Oh.